Hello YouTube, this is Quinn, that's Snazzy iPhone Guy, and this is the video review of the WOWee 1 from Gel Audio. This is a portable speaker that's really pretty cool, and we're going to get into it very soon. But first, this video is sponsored by SquareTrade.com. Go to SquareTrade.com/TSIG to save $35 off your 2-year iPhone warranty. Alright, so this is the WOWee 1. Thanks to Gel Audio for sending this out for review. It's a very unique looking product. It's a little bit bigger than your average portable speaker. If you look at it in coordination to the iPhone, it's about the same size as the iPhone face-wise, and then it's about 2 times the thickness. So it's pretty thick and it's pretty heavy. Now the WOWee 1 features as far as I'm concerned, a pretty massive internal battery. It's a lithium ion battery, which is rechargeable via the included mini USB cable. They claim 20 hours of audio playback. However, I've resulted in about 26 per charge. So I'm getting a very long time out of this speaker, and I think part of the heft is due to the fact that the battery is so large. Now, if you guys remember, I reviewed a product a couple months ago called the Org Audio Rocket. The WOWee 1 integrates the same principles as the Rocket and has this sticky pad-like system. Now, this one is a little bit different from the Org Audio 1, and in my opinion, it's not as good. This one isn't very much of a sticky surface per se, but it is grippy. So it will stay on to a lot of stuff, and it is kind of shaped in the form factor of a suction cup. So if you push really hard against a surface, it will throw all the air from out of the center of the device itself, and it will be able to stick to things such as glass and other such items. They do include a few accessories called, ironically, the sticky pad, which allows you to stick it to glass or whatever surface you want that's flat. However, I've discovered that this sticks to glass just fine without having to need this special accessory. I just throw it on my shower, press pretty hard, and it'll stick. So it features a very unique on and off powering system, which I know is pretty minute and isn't something that I should probably praise as much as I do, but I like the ease of use. You've got your headphone jack, you've got your audio cable, which is included in the box, by the way, is the WOWee 1 itself, a mini USB cable for charging, and then this 3.5 millimeter male-to-male connection. Now, the device has no power switch, and it simply turns on when you stick this into your device. As you can see, that blue LED will go on, which also features a beautiful music note. If you check that, oh, cute. Okay, and then to turn the device off, you simply unplug it. Now, unfortunately, I like to wrap, and I tend to wrap my cables around the device. Well, with the WOWee 1, that's not going to be something you are going to want to do, because the speaker will remain on and will much more drastically decrease the battery life. So, one thing to note. Other than that, it's a pretty simplistic device, and the WOWee 1 focuses on the bass end. Right here is where the tweeter, the driver, is housed for the mids and the trebles, and then around in here, this area is where the driver for the sub is based. It's like a little mini sub, and I'll get into it in a few minutes. So let's do a demo, and I'll show you exactly how the WOWee 1 works. I've found that it works best on flat wood and or glass surfaces, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Stick it on the surface. You're going to plug one of the ends into your music player or audio source, and then we're going to plug the other end into the speaker itself. The blue LED will indicate that it is in fact on, and you can crank up your tunes. So we're going to start one right here. Now, if you notice that I'm holding it right now, the volume's up pretty loud. It's about 3/4 right now. And, it's pretty loud. You can hear the speaker, you can hear the mids, you can hear the trebles, but it doesn't sound anything too impressive, right? Now look what happens when we put it on the table. So take it off the table, place it on. It's pretty cool. Now, basically what that does is amplifies the bass. Now here's the problem I have with this device. Usually in these portable speakers you get a wimpy bass but a decent treble and mid selection. Now on the WOWee 1 it's quite the opposite. You get a pretty big bump in bass, but I feel like the treble and the The mids and the trebles, which are typically more important, don't shine very well. I mean, it just feels like a blah, 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 which, I don't know, some people like that heavy bass feeling, but I actually like to hear my music other than just feel it in my heart from pounding. So, you know, this is where I have trouble with this speaker. It's an $80 speaker. 80 bucks isn't cheap. Most portable speakers you can find under 50, and I feel like there's some better options out there for the money. Now, I would have to say that this is one of the best speakers I've tried, but again, it's an $80 portable speaker. I think hands down best, and to this day I believe the X Mini XMI, it's a little thing, and it has a pretty nice sub too. They're 35 bucks at most, and you can find them for 25 on Amazon, and they sound just as good as the WOWee one no, I shouldn't say just as good. They sound almost as good in the sub end, and then in the mids and the trebles, they just blow this thing out of the water. That's one thing I think WOWee should focus on a little bit, is it has a good boom and bass, but this just doesn't quite work for me. There's not enough treble and mid emphasis for me to justify the $80. And I mean, at $80, you're also looking at some good headphones. You're also looking at some pretty decent docking systems as well. So even though this is portable, even though this is handy, you gotta ask yourself, is it worth 80 bones? And I'm just not to the point where I can justify it. If you have $80 and you're willing to spend it on a portable speaker, I think this is definitely one of the better options out there. It sounds marvelous. It sounds, you know, really good in the sub. It sounds pretty good in the mids and the trebles. And I think it's definitely ample for what you would want. But for $80, I don't know. The battery life is really good, the integration is sexy, the build quality is superior to any other speaker I've ever seen. So I think that's maybe why you could justify it, but for the sound, 80 bucks just seems a bit overboard. So I hate to be the killjoy, I hate to be the guy that says, you know, it's not really worth the money, but I honestly have to say that I don't think it's really worth the money. So, you know, that's me, that's Quinn, that's Snazzy iPhone Guy. This is the WOWee 1 from Gel Audio. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good product overall. They just need to drop the price to about 40 bucks. So this is Quinn, that's Snazzy iPhone Guy, bringing you the most honest reviews on the net. And as always, stay snazzy. See you later, folks.